some little tidbits that I've picked up over the years. I put them together, and from different sources, and there's always different opinions on how to become a millionaire, what you need to do. I remember when I was first in college, and I had a financial literacy class I had to take. And one of the things they said that made a lot of sense back in that time was, if you just put some money into the S&P 500, right? At the end of whatever 40 plus years that you continue to put it in there, the S&P 500 has been a steady, rock solid indicator of, on average, about 5% a year. And so if you do this much a month, every single year, month for 40 years or whatever, you will have $1 million sitting in your bank account waiting for you for your retirement, right? Like that's what they taught us. That was the basics of it. And it was like, okay, if that was the very minimal thing I did, right? And I thought $1 million, that would be amazing. Well, nowadays, that even $1 million doesn't go very far. So now you got to be thinking, probably 10 million, right, or more, to have a comfortable retirement. But still, that was a basic concept that we were taught, right? As brand new freshmen in college, we're trying to figure out what we're going to do with our lives. And people who are disciplined and can do that, and put away a little bit into their 401k or their Roth IRA or whatever. That's legit, right? The problem is a lot of people don't have that discipline. Unfortunately, people get laid off or they lose their job or something happens. They have to dip into their retirement. They have to do different things, and just the fact that inflation is killed it, right? $1 million back 30 years ago is not the same as it is today, and so you've got to do other things, right? There's other things we've got to do to supplement that, to figure out other ways to make sure that we're not just going to be living off of Social Security and a 401k or whatever, right? And that's kind of the point. So together with our positive social impact solution that we're going to have, here are some tips on how to really make sure that we're going to be able to have that $1 million, be able to have a comfortable retirement, be able to live life to the fullest. So, how to be a millionaire, right? Let's go and become millionaires. How can we do that? Maybe shorten the time that it's going to take to get to that point. Not all of us have 40 years left to go and put money into a 401k, right? Some of us are going, I need to do this a little bit quicker. So let's take a look, right? And of course, one of the primary things is you got to have a written financial plan. You got to write it down, right? And we've talked about this in other occasions. We've talked about 10 steps to success and goal setting and things like that. And there was a difference between people who write down their goals versus people who just state their goal, right? So you might have a goal, you might have an idea and think, oh yeah, I want to be a millionaire, or I want to do this, or I want to have a nicer home, or I want to get out of debt, or whatever it is. But until you actually take some time, sit down, write it out, right? And really come up with a plan, you're just going to be guessing, right? You're just going to be kind of, trying to figure it out. So one of the main reasons why someone never does become a millionaire is they haven't written it out. They don't have an actual plan. So developing a plan forces you to take action instead of just talking about it, right? It also guides you in making the right decisions in order to achieve all your dreams and goals. So that is the key. Is number one is I'm going to decide right now I'm going to be a millionaire. And thank you to Vaughn, who shared with me this morning a little quick video that talked about when you're writing your goals, right, to write them in the present tense, to not just say, oh, in 10 years I want to be a millionaire, but you actually want to write it as if I already am a millionaire, right? I already have $1 million in the bank. I already have the home of my dreams, and you write it out, because then your subconscious, right, starts to work on that, and it like goes, wait a second, oh, am I a millionaire? Oh, do I already have, the car of my dreams, and oh, do I already have the big home where, I actually, each of my kids has their own bedroom, right? And so your brain starts to come up with ideas and solutions to get you where you think you are, right? So that's a huge thing. Writing it out and treating it as if it's already a reality so that you now have the help of your subconscious mind getting you there. Okay. So that's number one. Now, number two is we're going to change our focus, right? We're going to focus on increasing our income because it's not enough to just say, I'm going to go to work, I'm going to get a job, I'm going to depend on my salary to do it. No, we've got to go beyond that, right? And so Grant Cardone said, in today's economic environment, you cannot save your way to millionaire status, right? You can't just put money away and hope that it's going to grow in a 401k or whatever. No. So Grant Cardone, for those that don't know, he went from being broke and in debt at the age of 21 to becoming a self-made millionaire by the age of 30. So he said the first step is to focus on increasing your income in increments and then repeating that. Okay. So we've got to now that we have a financial plan and we're focused on it, we're setting our goals and everything. Now we're going to actually focus on creating more income. Okay. Because you can't just save towards it. You've got to create new sources, new ways to earn. Now, the other big thing, we always talk about this, we talked about this last week with the idea of cutting taxes, right? Reducing your tax footprint, because that is one of the enemies of wealth, right? The first one is inflation. It eats away at your money that you're making. So the second one is what you pay in taxes all the time. And so one of the greatest things we can do is put the power of compound interest on our side, right? So Brian Feroldi wrote in The Motley Fool, he said, the best way I know to become a millionaire is to put the power of compound interest on your side by giving your money more time to compound and keeping your rate of return as high as possible. We're going to be able to increase our chances of reaching a seven-figure net worth. So there are two tax systems in our country, right? In the United States, Canada, similar, Europe, kind of. There are two tax systems, one for business owners and entrepreneurs, and one for people with regular jobs. Okay. It's just the way it is. That's the way it's written. So owning your own home-based business, even if you run it part-time, can be the single best financial decision you could ever make. Why does the government give you these simple tax breaks for running your own home-based business? It's simple because America is the land of opportunity, right? We know that. And so small business is responsible for 70% of growth in our economy, and it drives innovation. So they've written it on purpose. The tax code is written to drive that, to drive and favor entrepreneurs, those of us that are willing to take a little bit of risk and to go out there and make things happen, right? And so it's huge. It's a huge thing. We talked about it in the other training about how you would have to be brain dead not to have your own home-based business. Well, that's what we're talking about. We're gonna allow more money to go into our retirement fund, into other investment vehicles that we might be involved in by reducing how much we have to pay out in taxes. Okay, because it can be huge, and I mean it's right there for the taking. Okay. The other thing that we got to do is we need to associate with millionaires, right? We got to really understand how they think and what they're doing. So, Steve Seibold wrote for Business Insider, in most cases, your net worth will mirror the level of your closest friends. So, this isn't exactly a new philosophy, right? This has been around ever since Andrew Carnegie embraced the mastermind principle. And exposure to people who are the most successful or more successful than you has the potential to expand your thinking and catapult your income. We become like the people we associate with, and that's why winners are attracted to winners. That is the reality. That millionaires think differently from middle class about money, and there's much more to be gained by being in their presence. So seek them out, right? Don't be scared of them. Don't be nervous. And even if you can't get to know them personally, maybe just listen to the things they do. Listen to what they're saying, right? Get on, any kind of a podcast or a YouTube video or whatever it is. Listen to what they're talking about and how they think and what they're involved in, and really try and apply some of those things in your own life. Okay. Then we want to automate. Okay. We want to automate as much as we can. So if you want to become a millionaire, yes, we've got to do the savings thing, right? Whether it's a 401k or a Roth or a traditional IRA or some kind of vehicle. Okay. If you want to invest in precious metals or whatever it is, right? You just want to be putting your money into something that's going to grow, right? Some kind of emergency fund that's some kind of a money market fund that's got a higher rate of return than just a standard savings account. And also it needs to be automated. Okay, this will automatically withdraw a percentage of your salary and place it into your contribution without you ever seeing it. It suggested that you put anywhere from about 10%, okay, towards investments and 5% towards savings, if you can, right? That's the recommended amount. And it's interesting. I've been involved with a company called Acorns for a while, and it's kind of cool because it's got a lot of little things where it will automatically just take certain roundups, right? Where certain amount of like to get to the next dollar, it'll take that and put it into my into a savings high yield growth account. It has things where it can automatically even just a certain amount each month that just kind of comes out of my checking. I don't have to think about it, right? I don't have to remember, oh, I should go transfer, right? No, it just automatically comes out. And it's funny, I just kind of set it and forget it. And every once in a while, they'll send a statement, right? And say, oh, hey, you should check out your Acorn statement. And I go, oh, yeah, that's right. And I go look, and next thing I know, it's like, oh, there's, a few $1,000s in there I didn't even know I had, right? Because I hadn't even looked at it in a while. So that's the kind of thing that allows you to prepare, right? Prepare for the future and have it be automated. Now, the other thing, of course, is we need to become $1 million people, right? We talked about that. Jim Rohn taught all about that. Is that if we're upgrading our skills and our knowledge, we're going to be able to be that person, right? So that when things happen, things go sideways, or things don't follow or go through like we hope, then we can always start over and be at a better position because of who we are, because we are that $1 million person, because we've obtained those skills and those abilities to allow us to, not start from scratch, but to actually start at a higher level. So if we can read at least 30 minutes a day, listen to relevant podcasts while we're driving, seek out mentors, right? Tucker Hughes is talking about this. He became a millionaire at just the age of 22. So we don't just need to be a master in our field, right? We need to be a well-rounded genius capable of talking about all kinds of subjects, whether it's financial, political, sports related, whatever, and consume knowledge like it's air and put our pursuit of learning above all else, right? That's another key thing that will help us to become a millionaire. All right. The second thing, or the seventh thing, sorry, it's huge, living below our means and laying off the credit. Yeah, we got to stop spending more than we make, right? Because we know that the other enemy of wealth is the high interest that we're always paying out, whether it's in a mortgage, whether it's on credit cards, whether it's, whatever, any kind of loan that we're taking out, right? We're paying all this interest to the banks, to the lenders, and that money is money that we could be putting into our own investment tools, right? Our own investment and retirement accounts. But when we start to live beyond, when we start to, start getting luxury items and thinking, oh, I'll just put it on the credit card. Well, anymore, I mean, it's just crazy. I've noticed it. Credit cards, they used to be, oh, okay, 12, 15% interest rate. Now that average one is right around 29%, right? It's crazy. And then I just got word, like we had one, we actually financed to get some home improvement stuff done. We got some new windows and things. And we got the 18 months of 0% interest, right? And that's great. Okay, yeah, we're going to pay it off before the interest kicks in. Well, I got a notice the other day from them that said, oh, hey, by the way, if you don't pay this off in the 18 months, right, then guess what? It's not just going to be 29%. We're going to bump it up to 35%. Like they went up 6% just because. And I was like, oh my goodness. Yeah, I definitely need to pay this off in the 18 months or I'm going to be in big trouble. I'll never get to pay it off. It's just crazy how much money goes into these, into credit and debt. So, yeah, people that become millionaires, they're frugal, right? They don't spend excessively on designer luxury items. They actually use coupons, right? You'd think, oh, he's a millionaire. He doesn't use coupons, or she's wealthy. She doesn't need to look for discounts or do couponing. No, actually, you do. In today's environment, in today's current economy, yeah, I don't care who you are, how much money you have, I do all the time. I love rewards apps, right? If I go to anywhere, even if I go to McDonald's, I'm using the McDonald's rewards so I can at least get something free, whatever it is. Don't be ashamed. Don't be embarrassed to use, rewards programs and stuff because they will help to fight back against inflation and other things that are taking over. And the other thing is, of course, is just keeping it under control, right? Use credit sparingly. It's not that you can't use credit, but just be wise about it. And like T. Boone Pickens, who says he only carries around as much cash as he needs for what he intends to buy, right? Use cash as much as you can so that you're not going into debt. And then the final thing is increasing our streams of income. Okay, we just always need to be on the lookout for ways that we can have extra income coming in. After studying the very wealthy for 5 years, author Thomas Corley discovered that 65% of self-made millionaires that he studied had three streams of income, right? 45% had four streams, and 29% had five or more streams of income. And this could include starting a side business, working part-time, making investments, renting out everything from your home to your car to household items. There's so many ways, right? People get creative. You can use Turo if you want to rent out your car that's not being used. You have an extra car, right? Why not? Why not rent it out, right? Some people have extra property they can do on Airbnb. Um, some people have special skill sets, right? You know how to write music, and so or you know how to do graphic design. So you go on to Fiverr or some of these other different websites on Etsy, right? For example, and you can sell your designs. You can sell you can create logos for people, and there's just so many different kinds of things that you can do. There's people that maybe they just need to drive Uber or drive Lyft or something, but have other sources of income, right, that you can use to increase your wealth over time. Don't just rely on your job, right? That's the bottom line. So, my friends, we have all this advice. We have all these things, these tips that I've shared with you today. Soon we will have our positive social impact banking solution that will be another way that we can fight back against those enemies of wealth and create true wealth in our lives for our families and ourselves. So let's keep working at it. Let's keep going. And I promise you, if you follow these steps, you will eventually find that you can become a millionaire and you can leave a legacy for you and your family, your kids, your grandkids, and future generations. So with that, I'll let you get back to your Saturdays. Thanks so much for jumping on with me today. And we'll see y'all next week again for our follow-up training. Okay, take care, everybody. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye.